save. A prayer at the buzzer. Kyle Lowry! In the end zone. It is caught for the win. Richard
I'm Michael. And I'm Josh, and this is Overtime Debate for the Huntley Boys. So the first one we have today is, what should the Bears do with Jay Cutler? So I'll start here. I'm just going to say that the Bears are 0-2. They got destroyed on Monday Night Football. It didn't look good. Cutler's hurt. They're going to bring in their backup quarterback. I think this is the last season with Jay Cutler.
Yeah, I think the same. I think it's been consistent all the years that he's been playing. Not really all the years, these past years that he's been playing. It's been bad play. It's been the same things. He's upsetting the fans. I think it's time for a change. I mean, it's going to be. I mean, if you look at the stats, look at that, like an interception, a fumble loss. It seems like an every game thing. So it's getting old.
And I wanted to add in his career. It's like he's 60-58 overall as a quarterback. I mean, he's 2 games over 500, and he's supposed to be this big guy with a big contract for the Bears, and it just hasn't worked out. And he still has a few years left on his contract. I'd just say you got to cut ties with this guy. They're 0-2. He's going to be hurt for the next couple of games. Their backup isn't a draft pick or anything. He's just a Brian Hoyer. He's a little. You could say whatever you want to say about him, but yeah, the Bears need to get into the draft, and they need to move ways, and they need to continue rebuilding. So our second topic here today is, who has been more impressive through the first 2 weeks of the NFL season? Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys or Carson Wentz of the Philadelphia Eagles? I want you to say, who do you think right now has been playing better?
You know what I think? I think Prescott. No, I'm sorry. I think Wentz, even though he doesn't put up as much yards, I think his touchdowns and his record for his team really setting him off. And it looks like they're going to be more successful in the long run. And I know this is going to mess with him because he's a Cowboys fan, but I just got to go with the stats, and the stats never lie. And as you can see here, it just looks more consistent from this view.
I have to disagree, and not just because I'm a Cowboys fan, but Carson Wentz has played the Browns defense and the Bears defense. Those are 2 below average defenses in the NFL, and I just can't see him being a success. No offense to the guy, he was the 2nd overall pick in the draft, but Dak Prescott, this guy's got nothing to lose. He came into the preseason, played outstanding. Tony Romo gets hurt. He comes in, he has a 1-1 record. He had a big win against the Redskins, a team that won that division last season, and beat him on the road. That's from a 4th-round draft pick. There's no expectation for this guy. Wentz has expectations. He's playing well. He's doing much better than the 1st overall pick, Jared Goff. But as a Cowboys fan, I always got to go with Dak Prescott.
We'll see. Here we have the wild card race predictions. It's going to be a really tight series coming up. It's all these teams fighting for playoff contention. So over here in the American League wild card, we got Baltimore and Toronto. That'll be interesting. We got Detroit and Houston fighting over here in the hunt. Over here in the National League, got the Mets, San Francisco, and St. Louis. Fighting in the hunt is Miami. So a lot of things coming up, especially, what do you think?
Well, I think in the American League, I think it's going to stay how it is. Well, because the Red Sox are winning the AL East, I think they're going to win that division, and then Baltimore and Toronto are right behind in 2nd and 3rd. And I don't like Detroit's pitching. I think it's a little bit overrated, and then Houston's been so inconsistent in the last couple of months. I don't think either of these 2 teams get in.
I like San Francisco too. I think they'll be good into playoff contention. I mean, San Francisco. They're a postseason team, in my opinion, and it's almost weird to see San Francisco not in the playoffs to me in baseball.
And what would happen is there's a 3-way tie right now, and if the season ended today like that, it would basically be New York would play the winner of San Francisco and St. Louis in another wild card because they're just best of ones. So out of those 3 teams, the winner of that would basically probably play the Cubs. So who would you think that would be? The Mets, Giants, or Cardinals?
Let's see. I think it'd be the Cardinals because it just seems like those teams always go at it, and they always have trouble for each other, and they always seem to migrate to one another, and I think interesting things happen, so we'll see.
Next up, we got some notable Week 3 games. for this Sunday, and actually the first one's for Thursday. So we're just going to go through here. These are probably the top 4 best games of the week. Let's begin it. This game's on Thursday. Who you got, Houston or New England?
I gotta go with New England in this one. You know, they're coming up, a lot of hype, 2-0, big things happening. Garoppolo's really stepping in, filling that role, and there's a questionable appearance for Gronk, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen, so I think Martellus Bennett's still going to be pounding for the Patriots, and they're going to get that W.
Well, I have to disagree. I mean, all right, Jimmy Garoppolo might not even be playing in this game due to his right shoulder injury. And then the Texans are 2-0. They didn't have a good game against the Chiefs, but they still won. These are 2-0 teams. I think that Brock Osweiler and the Texans are going to go on the road in a shortened week and pull up an upset.
All right, we'll see. Let's see. We got the Denver Broncos at Cincinnati. Who you got?
This game, I can't say no to the Denver Broncos defense. It's just so good. I mean, these two teams played last year. The Broncos won in overtime. This is the best defense in football. I think that Trevor Siemian, their quarterback, will just do just enough to put them into the game. I think they win something close like 27-24.
I agree also. I think the Bengals are still going to be kind of shaken up from that loss against Pittsburgh, and I think the Broncos, after that good win against Indianapolis, they're going to be riding high against the Bengals, and big things are going to happen. But we got the Vikings and Carolina Panthers. Down goes Adrian Peterson, 3 to 4 months with a leg injury. What could happen there? What do you think?
Well, I was definitely surprised about how Sam Bradford beat the Green Bay Packers. I mean, that's pretty outstanding to me. He had a really good game. He played well enough for them to win. They only won 17-14, but I just don't see enough. I think the Vikings have probably the top 5 defense with the Panthers. Both teams have defensive caliber defenses, top defenses in the league. I think that the Panthers never lose at home. I think that this will be a close game throughout, and then late in the fourth quarter, I see the Panthers just straighten out. Cam Newton gets a few touchdowns.
I gotta disagree right there. I think that the Vikings are gonna march into Carolina, take care of business, and get out of there. I feel like Sam Bradford's doing really good. He's feeling good in that Minnesota environment, and they're gonna. I mean, Carolina, they seem to have that kind of blunder going on this season where they don't seem to put the games away early like they did in the 2015 season. I feel like they hold on to teams till the very fourth quarter, and that's where things start to get interesting. And I feel like the Vikings have enough momentum to where they can get things done in there.
I think this is the most interesting game. I have upset alert on this one. Pittsburgh at Philadelphia, another 2-0 teams. All these games, besides Cincinnati's 1-1, but the rest are all 2-0. The Steelers and Eagles. This is going to be a really good game. Who you got in this one?
Oh, well, coming from a huge Steelers fan, you know I got to back up the black and yellow. I mean, I feel after this 2-0, they got Le'Veon Bell coming up soon. But even without that, they're looking forward to that. But D'Angelo's also been putting in that work. He's been doing really good. He's been going hard for the Steelers, and they got good wide receivers. Eli Rogers in the slot's really filling in. He's becoming a good outlet for Ben, and Antonio Brown putting up the fantasy points weekly. So I think they're gonna go into Philadelphia and, like I say, get business done, and they're gonna get out of there with the W.
I looked at all the games this week, and I think this is the one that could be upset by them all. I know Pittsburgh's number 1 in the power rankings. They're projected to go all these places and all, but I think Carson Wentz at home with a really good crowd, I think they could get one out here. They could squeeze a game. It would have to be really low scoring. Their defense would have to show up. Now, I'm not going to pick this as mine, put 16 on Philadelphia, but I could put 1 or 2. I think that the Eagles could win at home. It'd be a really close, like 17-14. It'd be a defensive game.
Yeah, it would.
And then the topic of the week we wanted to add. We're going to have a topic of the week every single time we have a video, and this one is our thoughts on Colin Kaepernick sitting during the national anthem. Now, we talked about this before, and I just wanted to hear your thoughts about it again.
I think that I feel like Colin Kaepernick was kind of going down in the popularity rankings. I mean, he wasn't really even starting for his team anymore, and I feel like, in my opinion, he needed something to get that publicity back up. And in his own way, he decided to go this route and make this notable thing for this cause to get him up in the newspapers again, the headlines, and I feel that I see where he's coming from and I know what he means, but I feel like in this place, in that time, it's not the time and place to do so. I feel like if he really wanted to make that cause like notable and more like people will be more aware of it, I feel like there's other ways he can do that to make his cause more like, as I said, notable to other people.
Well, this story has changed throughout the this has gone on, and a lot of people don't know this, that Colin Kaepernick has been sitting during the national anthem all of last season. He did it, and when it was during the preseason, somebody finally took a picture and noticed that Colin Kaepernick not sitting during the national anthem, and people have been threatening him. It's just been crazy the reactions he's getting. It's either love or hate on social media, but what he's doing, he's trying to make a cause. Before this, I really didn't like Kaepernick. I think that he's just a social drama queen. I don't like how he behaves. I think that he's not the guy to do this kind of thing, and the way he's doing it isn't. But every single thing he said about the black diversity and how this country treats black people with police and everything like that, everything's true about that. But I think this isn't the way to do it.
Yeah.
And then the final drive. We just wanted to add some Huntley High School sports news. These are some of the notable games coming up this week.
We got girls tennis, Belvedere North at Huntley. It's on Wednesday. And soccer, Jacobs and Huntley, huge rivalry there. A lot of things are going to be happening, crowd versus crowd, and we'll see what happens there. Volleyball, we got Crystal Lake Central at Huntley, another big game. And football, Huntley at Cary Grove, which last year, we made the upset, so things will be interesting now that we're in their turf, so we'll see what happens.
And then thank you for watching. This is our first episode. Our next video will be on The Voice on October 5th. And then we just made a Twitter, so don't forget to follow us on there at Overtime Debate. And thanks for watching.
All right, thank you.